Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Andrei Barbu. I'm a pre-sales engineer at UiPath. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, and today we'll continue our series of webinars regarding applying CI/CD concepts to RPA development. During our last webinar, we successfully deployed our UiPath robot in a Docker image, and we stored that image, Windows-based image, in Azure Container Registry. So we start off with the container registry in our Azure portal, already containing our build agent. So this image will be used as our build agent. Now, inside our build agent, we want to execute some code. We want to build our build artifact, and then we want to deploy it in subsequent environments. So, looking at our initial pipeline, the way we imagined it in the beginning of our discussion, as an RPA developer, I want to work in my dev environment. I want to build a project, and I want this project to then be committed to Git. This Git commit should trigger a pipeline which will build the build artifact and promote it through subsequent environments, first to some testing environment. It can be staging, QA, UAT, and then the same build artifact needs to end up in the production environment. For the pipeline plane, which we have on the right hand side, we now have our build agent. All we have to do is actually build the pipeline. So we're going to use Azure DevOps, the same tool, the same CI/CD tool we used to build our dockerized robot. We're going to use the same tool to build our project. As prerequisites for this project, I've created a sample project on GitHub. It contains very little, just a very tiny, minute project. And in my platform account, I have created the tenants or the services we talked about. We have a dev service, we have UAT, and we have prod. Locally, I have the project, UiPath sample. It just contains a message box, so it's not a very complex project. If we run this, we get a message box saying hello world. This is our project. So we have just modified the project. Let's git add everything. Let's commit, let's say update project.json, and let's push. Now, in order to build our pipeline, we're going to use Azure DevOps. We will start a new pipeline. The pipeline will be triggered by GitHub. Let's continue. We need to select the repository, and we will select the UiPath sample project. And we will have a starter pipeline, which contains the very basic structure of a pipeline in YAML format. The first thing we need to fix is this. We cannot run our agent on Ubuntu. We need to run it on Windows. And we need to use our custom container as a build agent. So Azure DevOps okay, so we need to add this. First of all, the image source, which we should find here. This is our image. and we need the connection. If you remember, we have created in our project a connection to our container registry, which is hosted in Azure, to our Azure container registry. This connection has certain permissions on our Azure container registry, including push of new images and pull from the container into DevOps. So this is the connection that we are going to use. Also, because Azure DevOps has a bug, we will need to add this in our variables group. It is what it is. We just have to add it. Okay, so let's delete this and let's run our pipeline and see if it works. Let's create a new branch for this commit, Azure Pipelines, where we will perform all our tests. We will not start a pull request because our pipeline is not ready yet. Save and run. Right now, Azure DevOps will create a new branch in our repository. We'll add this file to the repo and we'll push the commit into that branch, which will also start the job itself. Our pipeline execution is complete. What happens? There are a few steps to our build, which is very simple and very straightforward so far. First, the container is initialized, meaning that Azure DevOps will authenticate it with Azure Container Registry, will pull the image, meaning that it will pull the Docker image containing our robot. Then it will download the code which resides here in GitHub. So our project is on GitHub right now, and the pipeline will download the latest commit locally on the build agent, and then it will run the one-line script, which is hello world. We'll stop the container and finalize the job, which is very good. Now, obviously, writing on console hello world is not really enough for what we want to do, and we need to modify this script and actually perform our build. So our first step is actually building the build artifact. We have installed we want to use the UI robot.exe with the pack functionality. For this, we're going to look for the command line arguments for UiPath robot. And we want to use pack. So the pack command, UiRobot.exe, pack, project path, output, destination folder, and we will also add a version. Our sources are in this directory. So our output is going to be in the artifacts in the artifacts staging directory. And we will also want a version. And for this, we will use the build ID. For now, we just say use this. And because we want our build artifact to actually be saved by the pipeline, we will use an Azure DevOps task, which is artifact so our artifact is saved here. And we'll give the name, let's say, call it job. Let's save. And let's run the pipeline. 5 minutes later, our build is complete. Again, we see the fact that Azure DevOps creates a container, pulls the image from our container registry, from Azure Container Registry, checks out the code from the Git repo, and builds the artifact. Basically, we run our UI robot exe with a pack argument. We pack the project, we output it, and we also pass a version. At the end of the job, we see the fact that one artifact was produced. Let's see how it looks like. This is our build artifact. And we will download it locally to have a look at it. Let's save it and let's open it. Buried inside of it, we see our original project, and we can actually open the main file. And this is it. This is our original project. So our original project is now packaged inside the NuGet package, and it's available in the pipeline. Obviously, just being in a pipeline is not really sufficient. We see the fact that we do need the package in the pipeline playing, but we then need it pushed to the QA environment, which is our second task. We need to import the library, the PowerShell library, take this package, authenticate with Orchestrator, and then publish the package. Let's get to it. So we want to publish our package inside the UAT. For this, we need to first authenticate. Cloud offers an API key authentication now, which you can grab from here, API access. The build agent will use the PowerShell library to first authenticate with the orchestrator and then actually push the package to the orchestrator. For this, we're going to use the PowerShell library, which we referenced before. And we will look at the authentication mechanism. Out of these options, we are going to use this one with the cloud deployment of platform. The parameters needed to authenticate will be the client ID, the user ID, account name, cloud deployment, and tenant name. Cloud deployment is going to be production in our case. All these parameters will get their values from the library we already have with Azure DevOps. So UAT cloud deployment, which will be production, and we also need to create account name, tenant name, user key, and client ID. I've created variables for all our authentication parameters, and I have taken all the values from the API access menu within our platform.uipath.com account. I will save, and so we need to just modify our pipeline, authenticate with orchestrator, and then just push the build artifact. Our first step is to import the module. So import module UiPath.PowerShell, and then we need to authenticate. So token will be equal to, and we said that we will use this option. Let's just copy it. Our client ID will be from this variable. Oops, here. So this will be our client ID, and the same with everything else. This one is production. We don't have a timeout, and we're not going to use the session, the tenant name. So UAT tenant name, account name, UAT account name, and user key. As you can see, the library will hide the sensitive values. These values will be available to the PowerShell script. It's just that we cannot see them anymore. And now that we're authenticated, let's actually publish the package. For publishing the package, we will use this PowerShell commandlet with the package file itself and the authentication token. So let's copy this and let's add it here. The authentication token is token. The package itself will be found here. And let's save. Let's see how it goes. Our pipeline has executed successfully. The container has been initialized using our custom image. The code has been downloaded. We have successfully built the artifact with this version using our UI robot with the pack functionality. And the artifact was then saved locally within our pipeline for future stages, but also we have successfully published it to Orchestrator. So if we go to our Orchestrator, let's go back to our cloud platform. We have our services. One of them is UAT. Inside our UAT, we will navigate to the packages page. And we see the fact that our UiPath sample project 7 minutes ago was successfully uploaded, which is, well, this is what we're trying to do to begin with. So we are pretty happy about that. To summarize, we have successfully built our artifact and we have successfully published it to UAT. All we have to do is merge the branch we've been working on. Remember that we did all these trials on a separate branch, not on master. So we're going to go to our GitHub. We will look at branches. This is Azure Pipelines, which has been created by Azure DevOps. We'll create a new pull request. And then we will actually merge this branch into master. After this, I will actually do a git fetch, see how we stand, and then we do a git pull to bring these changes to the local machine as well. And that's about it. Links to the project and to the pipeline will be in the subscription, and we will see you next time when we actually start adding a little bit of logic behind publishing artifacts to environments. We don't want to publish absolutely everything to UAT. We want to put some manual steps in there as we discussed. See you next time.